Okay, Gabriella, Orlino, we've begun recording again. The floor is yours. Gabriella, Orlino, are you with us? If not, I'll open the floor for any questions for our presenter, or if you put your information in the chat, we'll review them, or you raise your hand, then we'll be able to allow you access to the floor.
I muted the problem. Thank you so much.
Mark P., it looks as though your hand was raised first.
Can you hear me?
Now we can speak. Use your auditorium voice.
Okay. Yeah. No, this was a good presentation given by Maurice, and that is the whole idea that all of us need to work on if we have to regenerate our environment, and that's something which Carbon Shot is heavily promoting and would like to push through. And eventually, this will also flow through Uni as well. That we should be able to push regenerative practices, and the permaculture practice is fundamental and foundational for that. And what Maurice is doing is tremendous. There has to be extreme encouragement to ensure that we can push this through, not just through continental Africa, but many other regions as well. And this will become a key exercise for all of us over here, whether it's Uni, UNAT, or Carbon Shot.
I apologize, Mark. Please first say your name and your organization and where you're calling from or where you're coming from. And if you choose your contact information or your website so that our audience will be able to know who's speaking. Thank you.
Sure. My name is Mark Prasangi. I'm in Toronto, Canada. I'm the founder of carbonshot.earth, as well as a co-founder for UnityNet International, or Uni. What I'm trying to emphasize over here is that what Maurice just talked about, regenerative farming and regenerating the soil through permaculture, is extremely important. And that's one of the key pillars and initiatives that Carbon Shot will be encouraging throughout. And eventually this would also, the intention is that this becomes a key pillar for Uni as well. And we not only encourage this across Africa, but across as many places globally as possible. So this will become a key pillar. That's what I just wanted to state that. And great work, Maurice.
Congratulations. Carlos. Carlos, I see your hand is raised, and then AHIABGA.
Mr. Morrison, your presentation was really. Hello, my name is Carlos Richard Sanko. I am the president of UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. I'm really impressed with your presentation, Mr. Morrison, and this is great. But I have some few questions that I just posted on the dashboard. One of which is, are you saying permaculture, just like what Mark was saying, is the answer to the safety of Mother Earth and ourselves?
Yes.
Yes, for sure. I don't have any solution apart from that, because it addresses food shortage, it addresses climate change, because we bring in ecosystems where there was nothing. Like if you look at my videos, you'll see as much as you're also conserving and regenerating the soil, the air, the water, the living things within it, and the environment, and also creating healthy human food, because my background is on health, public health. And I also believe that through permaculture, I can also be able to practice health by preventing people from eating food with a lot of chemical residues, which brings up they are called geriatric conditions like cancer, like heart diseases, yeah, like diabetes to very young people. So I believe that when you address the human health, you address the health of plants, you address the health of the soil, the health of the air, the health of the water, and restoring the environment. I think that is, to me, that is the best thing that I can ever do to the world. And the only good thing with permaculture is not just planting, but it's planting with design. And also focusing all the natural energies to focus on the system. Like we have systems, designs that are able to tap the sun, the runoff water, yeah, regulate the sun, to help restore the soil without adding any chemicals, and also to make the plants healthy and more productive. And because it's called permanent agriculture, permaculture, everything is permanent, and as much as you get older, the system becomes more productive. So by the time you get so old that you don't have energy, your children come in and they get a more productive system that don't require even a lot of their energy, just maintenance. Like now I'm doing a lot of pruning and removing invasive species from the ones that I planted before. So according to me, I think it is the most efficient way of restoring the lost indigenous ecosystems and forests, agroforests, for food production and survival.
Thank you. Thank you.
Things.
Yeah. Just to add to what Morris has said, Carlos.
Please.
This is Mark. This is Mark Prasangi here.
Mark, thank you. Go ahead.
Just to add to what Morris has said, permaculture is one of the solutions which has massive cascading and network impacts, and which is why it makes it a great solution. And one of the reasons that I want to ensure that this gets massively encouraged and promoted through UNI, through Uni, as well as Carbon Shot as well.
Thank you. AHIABGA, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I want to, can I add something?
Briefly,
yes.
Yeah, of course, I agree with you, Mark and Maurice. Really, of course, currently I'm studying permaculture, Oregon State University. And I want to encourage all of us, the different chapters in Africa, for us to look at permaculture as the answer to Mother Earth issues. The issue of economics, the issue of resilience, the issue of health, the issue of climate, the issue of environment, permaculture answers it all. And one key thing that I love about permaculture is, it doesn't mean you should have a fancy degree. No, everyone can do it. So yes. Permaculture encourages everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. AHIABGA, you have your hand raised.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. My name is AHIABGA Isaac from Uganda.
Your sound went out. Try again. We don't hear you, AHIABGA. Unless AHIABGA can come back, then I'm turning it back.
So can I add some very important elements towards this presentation?
Briefly,
Andrew?
Briefly, yes.
Of course. So as I was saying, permaculture empowers us to take control of our lives and teaches us the skills we need to take care of ourselves. It makes us think about a big picture, not a small picture. It forces us to think outside the box and put us in an ecological frame of mind that asks, what will nature do? It's a holistic and combines the best of all design fields. It makes us feel connected to the place where we live. Anyone can do it. We can easily start to put it into action. It is not prescriptive or formula-based, So it allows different people in different places to arrive at different solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. AHIABGA, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. As I was saying, Mr. Morris has a very good program at hand. But look at what we are doing in Unity Network, especially supporting the youth, community youth, and less privileged. And also talking about the climate change and promoting agriculture in Africa. Number one, his approach is not very flexible. I have tried to have a conversation with him twice. His approach is somehow not so much easy the first time. When I introduced myself to him the second time, so who are you, who are this? I feel so embarrassed. Then number two, is more of commercial in his project than giving back to the community. Yes, we know that the knowledge is money. Maybe that's where he generates funds from. But when I approach him, the amount that he's charging is somehow very, very high to anyone that wants to train in his program, and which at times is not very affordable. So I don't know how he's going to work with us, how we can partner with him with that kind of a situation in that environment. Number one, the cost of his training. Number two, his approach is not friendly. So I don't know how we are going to work on that so that we can to see how we can work together. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, and I'm sure we can address those issues after this public presentation. Thank you very much. Back to Lino or to Gabriela, or if not, then Carlos. It defaults to you if neither of those are available to finish this day's presentation. Carlos.
Yes, I want to thank you so much, Maurice, again for this presentation. And what Bishop AHIABGA was saying, yes, maybe I want to say this, that in our midst, we're going to do a training for people who are interested, a general training for people who are interested in permaculture. That will come very soon, that you benefit from it without paying anything. You will be able to use the skills or the knowledge for you to practicalize it in your own country or your community. So it will be coming very, very soon. Don't worry about it. UNAT is doing its best to ensure that it brings all the expertise to support countries, African countries, so that things that what you are saying that are very expensive can become minimal expensive, so that people will be able to access them and be able to utilize them in their various communities. So that is coming very soon, but we're going to notice you in one of these months to do that training for everyone. Thank you. So added to this is for us to discuss today the World Environmental Day.
Excuse me, before you proceed, if I may, we are living in the fourth industrial revolution. That means that just as we're all connected together here online from around the world, we can all have access to information that's freely available online anywhere in the world. If you simply type in free permaculture courses, you can find there are free year-long online permaculture courses. So I do want to thank Maurice for his presentation. But AHIABGA, I have to tell you that it is up to us individually to find solutions, what I call open source, that will allow us to take advantage of the information we have so that we're not limited by the resources that we have available to us. Back to you, Carlos. Thank you.
Maybe I can say something.
Certain more. That is really, really true. Andrew, thank you so much. So it's not only AHIABGA, but every one of us, you can go to the net and search for anything that you need that will help you answer to your questions or to what you don't understand. So the world is very small now. It's in your plate. It is on your plate. It is in front of you. And so let us discuss briefly to look at the World Environmental Day, which is just at the corner. That UnityNet Africa and Diaspora together with UNI are going to use to observe the Environmental Day, of which that day we are going to promote what we call the planting of the trees of peace and reconciliation in our various communities. So maybe from Kenya, from Uganda, from Tanzania, from Sierra already. So maybe you can tell us what's your plan, what you want to do. All right, remember, Sierra Leone have started this last year, and we planted 10 trees of communities. So we're expecting this one to be leveraged by other chapters or other countries the 5th of June. So, and also we're expecting our partners internationally to do the same thing. And though we heard from Lloyd what he said already for Canada. So now, what's your plan? What do you want to do in your chapter, in your country? How many trees you want to plant? What type of trees have you chosen to plant? How do you want to go about it? And remember, please don't make it exorbitant. Make it in a way that you'll be able to handle it in terms of economic or in terms of financial or implications or logistical implications. So do it in a way that you'll be able to handle it and be able to report to us so that it will be added to the wall indicators we have already. So this is, if you are going to plant, let's say for instance, 1 tree in your country, please, we want to know the type of tree and the community where you are going to plant that tree, and who are the stakeholders that will be there, maybe the mayor, the chief, and other stakeholders that will be there, that will be inviting, and maybe the time, the period, for us also to know the period, the time frame, so that we'll be able to support you internationally using our network. And then also, we also ask you to GPS the tree, where the tree is, so that we'll be able to have the coordinates. You send the coordinate to us, and we'll be able to align the coordinates in relation to the Google Earth. And then we'll be able to relocate or locate these trees in the various locations where they are in the world. So at the end of the day, we'll be able to know the number of trees so far, for instance, this year that we are going to plant, and where they are planted, and of course, those stakeholders that are involved. You can also take pictures, nice, clear pictures of this session that you are going to do. So this is exactly what we are expecting. So therefore, that's why when Morrison presented the issue of permaculture as the answer to Mother Earth, and exactly, and so UnityNet Africa and Diaspora is desperately going to promote permaculture to answer to Mother Earth problems. Thank you. So the floor is open to submissions. Or
Yeah, and maybe I can go first.
Of course, go right ahead. Yes, thank you.
Yes. First of all, I want to appreciate all the comments, and also want to appreciate the fact that some people look at some things as expensive and others are cheap. But I also want to say that we are targeting the degenerative world, people in the degenerative world who are using billions of shillings every day to invest in degeneration. So we are not targeting our fellow permaculturists, because if we appear that we are targeting our fellow permaculturists, then it creates a lot of things that appears like a contest. So I think that's unfortunate. So in terms of stakeholder involvement, actually, I've planted more than about 1 million trees and conserved more than 1 million trees. And last 2 weeks, I planted almost thousands of them. And I also have thousands in the nursery. I'm going to start a coffee project of thousands of coffee trees. But I can plant as many trees as possible. But there's only one disclaimer that I want to make. Because we are living in a conventional world and we are having these problems that we are having today, because there's totally no government action. And I had this discussion with Lloyd some times back. And my stakeholders, that the ones that I've been working with, are community members, yeah, and a few members who are willing to participate. So on my side, I can plant as many trees as possible, but now the issue of involving the government leadership, I think that one to me is a big mileage. Yeah, that I don't think I can never dream of or I can achieve, but I'm ready to plant as many trees as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The reason I raised my hand is because you brought up two very important points. One, for example, this year, Africa will be the host of the COP27 event later this year. As you may or may not know, last year, the governments of the world acknowledged the fact that they were not achieving their promised commitments to address issues like climate change. In point of fact, the world's largest governments and corporations committed billions of dollars of investment, but they only hit 2% of their target. So I do understand your frustration with what the governments are doing. However, there's a very important component to this group that I think is missing, and that is the youth and millennials, who are the ones that are driving the narratives for their own future and for ours. So I would have to ask AHIABGA and others involved with media to begin to involve those youth with what we're doing to create the professional presentations that demonstrate the impacts and positive outcomes of what we're already doing. We're not asking anyone to give us guidance for what to do, particularly you, Maurice. But when you say you've been responsible for having over 1 million trees planted, imagine the impact that visual will have, just like a Super Bowl ad that may be only 30 seconds, but has the power to impact people. So I would urge all of us to think about the outcomes that we're trying to accomplish. Thank you so much. Back to you. That will be to you, Carlos, to close or to manage the remainder of the meeting.
Well, I think that's why we are here today. But if there are no comments, we think we are fine, then of course, we can close the meeting for today, except if there are more things to be said by other people.
AHIABGA, I see your hand raised. Please go ahead.
Yes, concerning the tree plantations, I think we just need to commit ourselves, especially some of the country directors, to see what we can do if we cannot come together as a team for that tree plantations. I will suggest that we should locate some strategic area in our environment, especially in the district level or at the local level, where we can do the at least to plant some tree in some strategic area, if it is possible that we have some agents to work with that day for the plantation of tree, because bringing everyone together because of the logistic problem, it may not work out. But because it's like the expectation, let me tell you the truth, the expectation of most of the members on the tree plantation is that maybe there is a fund which is going to be allocated for the project, or maybe there is going to be a support from any international community or partner to do that, that can, but now that that fund or whatever opportunity is not there, it made many of them to become so weak or lazy. But I will encourage, especially some of us that are leaders, which are on platform, we should try to motivate some of our members and some of the leaders at the country level to see what we can do, at least to make sure that we establish something pertaining to the tree plantation. Especially the tree plantation is not just to do it for formality purpose, but because we said that it is a tree of peace and reconciliation. So let us do it. Let us mark it in our own respective location. So thank you.
Yeah, Andrew, can I say something?
Of course, the floor is yours.
All right, okay. So thank you so much, Ayodele, for that submission. And again, I want to reiterate on this, that it is high time for us in Africa, just like Morrison said, to stop to aid us in terms of our roles and responsibilities. No. Let us think that we are responsible to ensure that we create or establish a safe environmental system in any of our community or our country. It is our responsibility. So because almost most of the governments today have failed us, that is why for us, we should stand very firm and start to plant trees. Let us don't wait until somebody comes to support us, to give us money, before we start to plant tree or to promote tree planting. Let us stop this idea of expecting money, expecting funds, especially when we're supposed to exercise our roles and responsibilities in terms of safe Mother Earth where you live. So please, I am appealing or encouraging everyone. If it comes, your access fund, that is fine. But I have been saying this before, let us don't wait for fund. Let us start the work for ourselves. Start to plant 1 tree, 5 trees, 10 trees. You can do that one without money. You can use your own money or your resources to do it, to promote it within your community. When you do that one and you maintain those trees, next time you will go to another part to promote Mother Earth safety. I think if we keep doing this way, just like Morris did, planting 1 million trees in Uganda, in Kenya, wherever he is, that's a very good one. So therefore, if we have or we access the funds, that's a promotion already what you are doing. So let us start the journey now. A journey with 1,000 miles, start with a footstep. So let us start doing what we should do as Africans, so that outsiders can see what we are doing is relevant, and then they can support or they can support the process. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I think I really agree with what Isaac, hello? Hello?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
I agree with what Isaac and Carlos have said. Actually, they are very different now. And what we are doing, we are just being driven by conscience and not administrative process. It's conscious, we are being driven by a conscious because nobody is doing anything. And we are saying those ones whose conscience have been affected, who else will do it? If not me, you know? So what can I do today? Yeah, like me, every day I do planting or preparation for planting. That's the only thing that I do nowadays. So I resorted to that. After working for 20 years now, I said, I'm going back to the environment because nobody's dealing with the environment. So I have to take some action. Yeah, I don't have to wait for anybody to come and help me to plant a tree. I can take my family member, I can take my mom, I can take my staff. Yeah, and then we can plant it. We can make a small statement that okay, we are planting these trees for this, and then we get the GIS and send. And you can do as many as possible because the government officials will just be a baggage. Thank you so much.
Mark P, I see your hand raised.
Hi, this is Mark Prasangi. So I agree with what Morris says and what Carlos also just mentioned, that for actions like these, we do not necessarily need government intervention, right? These have to be personal, private initiatives which have to lead. The government usually follows, regulations usually follow, but people who are in communities have to start taking action and things will follow through. So what I'm trying to emphasize is that Morris's approach, being a private person, a private entity, is creating impact. And that is what we want to encourage, that start taking action as private entities and private impact. However, this is not to say that we should not look up to the government or we should not look up for facilities from a community representative organization. It would not hurt. But private enterprise is utmost important.
Thank you, Mohammed. Your hand is raised.
Hello.
Speak up,
Good
please.
evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I have listened to all the presenters concerning tree planting, trees of peace and reconciliation. It is actually necessary that we take action. I personally have been talking even to the continental president that we are making, we have made some meetings here. Mr. Tunkara is not with me presently. He is in Kenya, but I hope in 2 days' time he will be here in Guinea. Then we are going to look at the type of tree we are going to plant, but actually we are going to take part. Thank you.
Thank you, Maurice. I see your hand is raised. And then Philip Cato has indicated that he is planting a tree in support of this effort. He came in late, but if you'd like to, Phil, after Maurice speaks, please share your information with the group. Maurice, back to you. Maurice, your hand was raised.
Hello?
We hear you. Go ahead.
No, I'm okay. I've already made my submissions.
Okay, very good. Philip Cato, did you have any comment you want to share with the audience? Otherwise, it's back to you, Carlos. And then let me read what
Yes.
Philip is.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
So Philip in the chat indicated that he's here in Dodoma. I don't know what part of the world that's in. He'll perhaps share it, but he will plant a tree as a symbol of peace and reconciliation as part of UNAT. Secondarily, planting, let's say 20 trees really doesn't need someone to give money to buy tree seedlings. He will be in golden schools where there are already working and planting trees. That's his comment. Back to you, Carlos.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello?
We hear you.
All right, okay. Thank you very much, Philip and others, your comments you just submitted. I'm saying this again. Let us don't wait for an outsider to come and tell us to reforest our community, to reforest our country. Let us start. Let us do something that will showcase that we are ready to bring back Mother Earth to where it is, where it's supposed to be. So this is great. I believe outsiders will come and watch. Outsiders will come and join us to support the process. I know it will happen if we do something, if we decide to go the extra mile. So please do what you can to ensure that you promote your environment in a safety way. That is very, very good. Promote food security in your environment. That is permaculture. Please stop or reduce using chemicals. It will destroy Mother Earth. That is permaculture's advice. So I believe we learn so many things from this today, and it will help us if we go back to our different chapters, different communities, that we use the permaculture way to reforest or to bring back Mother Earth to where it's supposed to be. It's going to promote even our own safety, our longevity. I know what we've discussed here today is very, very important, is key to all of us. And I believe partners will join us in the future. And I thank you so much for your time and everything.
Oh,
if
no,
we don't have any other person.
We're not done yet. Susan Yago has her hand raised. Yes. Susan, the floor is yours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good evening, and I would like thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sir William, Andrew. Thank you, Continental President, Dr. Carlos, and all the participants for today's meeting. I came in a bit late, but I just want to mention that we are already entering into the month of June, and I don't know what preparations for each country have for the tree planting, because this is a month for tree planting for peace and reconciliation. But I had one person mention that we can do it in a small way, because like Kenya chapter, we are not registered as yet to do big projects on tree planting, because we can't do anything without here in Kenya without permission from, at least from heads of departments, heads of even in the government, even in the churches, anywhere we go, we have to introduce ourselves as a registered group. But I think like what one of the members has commented, that we can all take that initiative in our own small way and do it with family members. Like me, I have planned to do it 4K Club and schools, high school, that is Young Farmers Club, 4K Club, youth groups, women groups, because I have around 1 million tree seedlings in the that has been promised to by a tree nursery owned by the government, and also it's also a private. So we have that tree nursery where I'm working, and I'm going to look at it tomorrow so that I can have enough tree seedlings set aside. Then probably I'll take pictures. I may not take all the pictures from everywhere, but I'll take the much I can and be able to post on our wall to say that I have participated with my team in Nakuru. And I wish wherever we are, and then where we'll be able to achieve, because if we're going to wait for fundings or wait for all those, we won't even take a step of doing something this year. Probably next year or the other years, we shall be more prepared for that. Thank you so much for listening, and that's all.
Thank you so much, Susan. That was a good submission from Kenya. And I know that you are always ready Yes, whatever be the case, we want to ensure that we go through the right formality in terms of due diligence or compliance system. So we are not rushing into doing things that will bring us back later and say, no, you failed to do this. And remember, we're targeting the 55 countries in Africa. So it's a huge work to be done to ensure that we have the right frameworks. Okay, so go ahead, do your tree planting with your folks. That is fine. Take pictures of that one. What you do is, you are not here whilst I was saying this. Make sure the tree and the community that you are going to do the tree planting and the number of trees that you are going to plant, GPS those trees where they are and take coordinates and send them to us. Please, that will help us to be able to coordinate and collaborate our trees of peace and reconciliation planted in the world, wherever it is. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. The reason I raised my hand is to first again commend your work, Susan Diego, and to also confirm that whatever efforts you make to take photos of your work is critically important, because unless we document what we do, we can't prove it. But the flip side is true as well. The more we're able to document what we're doing, then, as Carlos has indicated, we'll be able to use existing technology to identify on the world where we are having an impact. And the idea is to encourage our youth, who are not our future, but our present, to become actively involved in co-creating the outcomes that we're trying to accomplish. I do want to share my screen briefly with you because as Lloyd Helperty and others have brought to my attention and that I have actually actively promoted, there is in fact what's called the United Nations Decade on Biodiversity that runs from 2011, I'm sorry, well, actually it ran from 2011 through 2020. But the idea is that this is a continuing effort that we have to undertake on our own behalf, because we only have one planet. And so again, there are readily available resources and activities that identify what, quote, the world is supposed to be accomplishing. But at the end of the day, we are the world. And if we're going to heal the world, we have to heal ourselves and heal our own communities. Thank you very much, Carlos. The floor is back to yours for close or closing comments.
Thank you very much. Thank you all participants today. I think this is great and we learn a lot from this. So let's go back. As Sunday, the 5th of June is going to be World Environmental Day, please make sure you do something. Plant a tree or trees and take pictures. GPS what you can and send the result to us. Share with us so that we'll be able to coordinate and collaborate our information for now and the future. It will help you. It will serve as a reference of participation as you have participated on that day and also signify that day. It's very important. So we are all a team. I want to thank you for this wonderful meeting today. And until next Monday at the same time, we have this same meeting. And thank you all. Thank you.
Very well. With that, we're going to end today's presentation. I did put in the chat a link where you can actually go to hear the replay of this. Or if you save the chat or copy that link, you can then share it with others who were not able to be here physically, but it will be available online at our AHIABGA Network Facebook page, where all of our meetings are streamed that we are publicly making available. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a fantastic day.
Thank you.